Hey y'all, check out my low carb, keto friendly, gluten free barbecue chicken pizza. Let's make it together. It's super easy. Grab you a pan. It can either be a dedicated pizza pan or whatever you've got. Grab you some parchment paper and cut you off a piece. I like to trim mine to fit the pan. Then grab you one extra and set it aside. I'll explain to you why you need that here in just a minute. For this next part, you may want to put some gloves on because it can be a bit messy. I use a pound of ground chicken from H-E-B, some grated Parmesan cheese with Romano. Then you can either use garlic, salt, or minced garlic, depending on if you're watching your sodium. And my Betty's Mambo Italiano seasoning. This smells great, y'all. It's just like walking through an Olive Garden or Italian restaurant. Put the ground chicken in your bowl, and then your garlic, about a half a cup of the Parmesan cheese. I'm almost out there. I've been making this all week. And then sprinkle you in a heaping serving of the Italian. It does have a Ziploc closure, so you can save it for later. Then crack you an egg to mix it all in together. This takes a minute. You want to make sure that it's mixed evenly, and then spread it out onto your pan. This part gets a little sticky, a little messy, so try and do your best to spread it out evenly. The thinner you can make this, the crispier the crust. So I pulled out my grandmother's baking pin, rolling pin that I got that I love, and take that other piece of parchment paper that we saved and place it on top, and then try and roll it and smooth it out evenly as best you can all the way to the ends. You want to really make sure not to have it too thick in the middle. Gives it more of that authentic crust flavor. Then pop it in your oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes, and while that's baking, we will work on the toppings. I sometimes do pepperoni and cheese, but today I am craving BJ's barbecue chicken pizza. So since I'm on contest prep, we're going to do our carb-free version. Take a purple onion. I like to use a mandolin blade, but you can really use a butcher's knife too. I just want the onion pieces to be really thin so that they kind of get crispy and a little burnt on the edges. After a couple of minutes of having popped that in the oven, you can remove that top layer of parchment paper right off without it sticking. I noticed if I tried to do it beforehand, it wouldn't. And check that out, you guys. After 20 minutes, it is just delicious, nice and crispy. So spread on whatever topping you want. I'm using the low sugar, no sugar added Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue. And then I add a layer of my onions and then some pepper, a little bit of sea salt. And then I personally like the Sargento shredded cheese blend. It's got a little bit of Parmesan, a little Romano, a couple others in there. And then I noticed BJ's likes to put in the diced tomatoes. So I have a can of diced tomatoes there that I sprinkle in, and then liberally a little bit more cheese, a little bit more of the onions on top. And I do like to kick it up a notch with some of the crushed red peppers, a little bit of cilantro as well, which is what BJ's uses. And then just to top it off, I add a little bit more of my Mambo Italiano. Check that out, guys. The basil, the oregano, it's just heavenly. One of my favorites and top sellers. Then take it and pop it back in your oven at 400 for about another 10 minutes or so. You want to watch it, which my sweet little supervisor Shelby is watching it too. And while it cooks, let me share with you guys that I do also have other flavors of seasonings available that I'll be posting recipes to on my website. And check that out, you guys. Is that not delicious? Now, because it's a chicken pizza, it is a little moist on the bottom, for lack of a better word. So I'll put it on a baking sheet just to sweat for a couple of minutes. That kind of firms it up. And then you can cut into it just like you do a normal pizza. And it is perfect. And one thing I love most of all is it's guilt-free. You can literally eat half of this pizza without worrying about it going over your daily calories. And you get that sneaky protein in with that chicken crust, because sometimes, let's face it, dieting can be a little boring. And if you're a dipper like me, I do have a bombshell buttermilk ranch that you can turn into a dip. I'll show that to you guys in another video. If you like this video, be sure to follow along for more recipes to come. And check out my website at benchpressbetty.com to learn about all of my seasonings, my story, and my nonprofit. And stay warm out there this week.